Hi, I'm Maggie.
Hi, I'm Grace, and this is
A Very Bookish Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to a Very Bookish Podcast. Today is episode 61, and today's guest, we have the very special Kimmy from @Kimmy's Books on TikTok. Welcome, Kimmy. How are you today?
I am all right. How are you guys?
pretty good.
Pretty well. Vibing. For those of you who are listening, Grace, as always, I'm calling you out, was late today to the podcast. So Kimmy and I have been talking.
I run
for a while.
on what is it called? LAS time. That's no, it's LST, Latinx Standard Time. So,
I'm weak.
yeah,
She's
you know,
always an hour late to everything.
yeah.
Okay,
you
so
know.
my family. I think
We're not late to the airport though. That's for sure.
That's true.
like
That's
4 hours
for sure.
in advance, 6 hours in advance.
Dad gets there and he's like, okay, everybody, this is what we're gonna do. My dad is like that too, where he's like, we have to leave, it's gonna take us an hour to get to the airport and it's like a 30-minute drive. He's like, we gotta park, we have to have 30 minutes to go through security. Our security line is 5 people long. And he's
Yeah.
like, the Kansas City airport is the tiniest thing compared to DFW or Love Field.
I love
And we have TSA pre-check, so it's sometimes slower, except now a lot of people are getting pre-check now and it's getting longer. But anyways, welcome, Kimmy. For those listening, Kimmy is on Book Talk and Bookstagram, and we met her through the Bookstify. There was a Bookstify event. We did a Secret Santa and Kimmy was there and I loved her vibe and I was like, Grace, please, can we have her on?
Yeah. I think you text me in the middle of that meeting. And she's just like, we gotta have Kimmy on. And I was just like, oh, for sure.
Yeah. When we like the vibe of somebody, we definitely are it takes me a while to reach out to them because I'm like, ugh, I don't want to I don't know. I get shy and then I'm like, okay, we have to have her on. And so thankfully we were able to work around everybody's schedule and have her on today. So welcome, Kimmy. I've already welcomed you, but so do you kind of want to introduce yourself and tell our listeners how you got onto Book Talk and what you do on Book Talk?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm Kimmy Books. Hi. I talk about romance books, and I think I make videos that I find funny. I don't know if anyone else finds them funny, but I always crack up at them. I don't know. And I try to make relatable content sometimes, just really broad general videos. But I started off on Book Talk Thanksgiving Day of 2020 because I was I keep seeing videos and I want to talk about books because I'm still a huge big Percy Jackson person. I love Percy Jackson.
Oh yeah.
I love him. And so I would see videos where I'm like, but you're not talking about what I'm talking about. You don't get it like I get it. So I was like, let me go in there. And then I also saw I think there was only there was not a lot of diversity on the app at the time, not at all. Kendra wasn't on the app, Tasneem, Lomi, those people weren't there. I think there was maybe 4 Black creators that I saw at the time. I was like, let me just join the scene. Why not? Just see a familiar face or I don't know, a friendly face. So that's basically how I got started making videos.
Yeah. You definitely joined at a really good time when I think Book Talk was really taking off. Was that the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021? That's when I think definitely a lot of creators were getting popularity then, and definitely joined at the right time too. I was kind of earlier, but definitely there was that big surge, and your platform is huge now. You have over 100K followers.
I know, it's crazy. I still can't believe it. I was like, huh? Yeah.
Did you ever think when you started it, you're just like, oh yeah,
No, my account and it was my first. So my first video is me reading comics because I'm a huge comic book person. But I'm more romance now. But before I was avidly reading, I read a lot more comics. And so my second video ever I had was the first one I showed my face, and I got so nervous I deleted the video. And my sister was like, post the video, girl. Like, what's wrong with you? I was like, oh, true. So I posted it. And it like blew up in my sense. Like it has like right now it has like 50K likes. There's like 100,000 views. I was like, whoa. So it like blew up out of nowhere. And my first month there, I got 10K. And I was like, damn, like, okay, I guess I can do something with this. Cause I was not expecting that at all. I was expecting like maybe 100 followers a month type thing. Like, yay, thanks for following me. But yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely how like TikTok works, and the algorithm is so different compared to like Instagram or something where it's very hard to build a platform. TikTok, book talk specifically, you can build like there's so many niches and stuff. And so like how did you talked about how you were in comics, you liked comics and stuff. So how did you move towards romance, and like what were kind of like the steps that you like, did you just like see other people posting about romance, you're like, oh I should
I'm so sorry.
You're okay.
You're
My
good.
cousin literally just called me. I will call him back.
It's okay. The listeners have a little wake up call, but so can you kind of like tell us like your journey of getting into romance on the platform at least?
Yeah. Well, I always been a romance. I'm like a hopeless romantic at heart. I'm a huge movie, TV person. I've watched like a lot of rom-coms, like most of Ryan Reynolds, like filmography and like all of that. And so I read like everything. I watched that movie 19 times now, but I can't remember how many times I watched it before I started. So I've always been a romance person, but when I joined, it was fantasy. That was what book talk was like centered around. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you know, I got The Cruel Prince, still haven't read it. I got Six of Crows, still haven't read it. And so I would I was like, dang, like I want like just like a feel good like romance book. Like I don't want nothing to happen in the world. Like, can we just get like a random pregnancy, something like that? And I think I forgot who I stumbled on. It might have been I can't think of it right now. I know Eamon is like me, but Eamon, or like at the time, but Eamon also did a lot of fantasy at the time. I can't remember what creator I saw. I think it was like Crystal Reeves. And she only talks about romance. Like there's some like that only talk about romance. I was like, wait, we can do this? Like people are interested in this? Because I'm interested in this. And so I started reading like a lot of romance books. And I was like, and then with romance, I feel it gives you a bunch of content to because people have tropes and stuff like that. Oh yeah, and book Twitter was a huge part of me like getting into romance. So
yeah, I feel that too. Like I feel like when I was reading YA, I was always looking for more. Or like when I was reading books, I think that's how I established that I really loved romance, was I would be reading YA and I'm like hyper focusing on like the romance between two characters.
Yeah.
And I think with like Cruel Prince, the romance is definitely overinflated than what it actually is.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely more politics.
I've heard that.
But I definitely think that's like interesting that like especially at the time that you were you joined, that's when like I started to notice a lot more like romance authors getting on TikTok and gaining a lot of popularity and stuff. So we talked about like we've talked about it before of like the different transitions and stuff from like fantasy, YA fantasy to more adult fantasy into romance and stuff. So kind of a question I have for you is like, do you see yourself going back at all to like YA fantasy? Because I know there's some people who are like me, where I'm like, I'm kind of done with YA fantasy and reading YA fantasy, but are you still like wanting to read YA fantasy at all?
Yes, and the only reason is Legend Born by Tracy Dion.
Oh yeah.
Born by Tracy Dion. Like I haven't read fantasy since We Hunt the Flame in June of last year. That was the last time I read fantasy. And so my fantasy TBR has slowly been building up because Tasnee was talking about like Jade City. I'm like, okay, you know, Ember and Ashes, Poppy Wars. I'm like, all right, cool. But Tracy Dion announced Legend Born and the Legend Born cycle, like Blood Marked, and then the Legend Born cycle. Yeah. And I was like, my eyes and ears are open. I will literally revert back into my fantasy phase for her. So besides that, no. But yeah, for Legend or for Blood Marked.
Do you I'm kind of like in that too. Like there's probably like maybe like a couple series that maybe I would go back for just because it was like super interesting or something. But because I was so into fantasy at the beginning and you know buying books and having them, like now I have so many fantasy books that I'm just like, I don't know what to do with, you know. And it's kind of like do you, because I know some people like unhaul and they try to like sell their books, or they just like, do you plan on keeping all your fantasy books, the ones that you
No,
have?
I actually just like yesterday I went to Half Price Books and sold like 20 20 books,
Oh,
20 to
man.
25. But I don't know, like there's some that I do want to hold on to. Like I have the first 4 Shatter Me, Unravel Me books. I'll probably hold on to those. But I won't get any more. I might let go of the Red Queen series, but it's just so pretty. Like
It is pretty. It is.
So I'm like, I don't know. Like it fits good in my bookshelf now. And like I live from home now just because I'm still a college student. So I'm like back, so it makes sense for me to live anywhere else. But when I move, I want to have like a library room. So if I'm selling my books, how if I don't have enough books to fill up the room? And now it's like I gave away the like I don't know. It's like I'm waiting.
Okay, yeah. I felt that. I mean, because like there's a lot, like my special editions, I'm keeping those for sure. Like I don't even care if I never read the book. I mean, if it has sprayed edges, it's staying, like that's it. But I remember like, because when you get into like the hype of like book talk and whatever, you do end up like wanting to buy all of these books. And you get into this thing of like, well, I want to have it too. Well, that book looks really interesting. And of course I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it. And then it just like moves further down your TBR, and then you kind of forget that you have it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm kind of like that too, especially because like my room is like my library / office. And so I have like bookshelves that I want to do like a whole wall of and fill that up. Yeah. I want to get on like Maggie's level, and like, it's also like it fills the shelf. It looks filled. Exactly. But am I going to read them? Probably. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I do wish that the one thing that is different between like fantasy and romance is like I wish a lot of like the merch stuff from fantasy romance would have, which is starting to, like the fan art from fantasy books. It's like insane. Like they have so many good like artists that like pull out prints and all of these things, and then when you go over to romance, formerly being like a fantasy reader and seeing all of that merch, go over to romance and it's just like, oh, there's not really a thing. But then like slowly now, because I think a lot of the fan arts are also becoming romance readers, you're starting to get like a couple that do it, and then like authors also like reaching out to artists and being like, hey, I'll commission you to do work. So I do like that. But I do wish we got a little more of like the extra stuff that fantasy has on romance. That's
I went from like Percy Jackson to like nothing. Like Percy Jackson, the fandom, like there's new art every day, like multiple times a day. And then I go and I see my favorite book and there's nothing. But I think people like Jess Draws. She does it for the people. She does it for us.
She really does.
I think that new account, Peaches Obviously, does covers for like the Love Hypothesis cover, the 7 Husbands of Hugo, like or Evelyn Hugo. Oh my gosh. I was like, oh my god, like so I think we're getting there.
We're getting there little by little. I do hope that it gets more, because like, man, seeing, because like, it's like I'm not really a big fan of like fan cast, like having an actual like person fan cast them, more because like the fan cast doesn't really match the vibe of that person. And like I've mentioned this before on the podcast, but like when I'm reading a book, I never really see the person's face. It's kind of like blurry, and like it's kind of like that thing of like where you try to focus on their face, the more you try to focus, the blurrier it gets.
That happens to me sometimes.
Oh my gosh. And so like it's not like I can't match like, like some actor to like fill that spot if I don't know what he looks like. And then the actor doesn't really embody who that character is. But if we did in like animated fan art, I feel like the fan art fits it so well. It gets their vibe. It gets their like little, I don't know, whatever, And so I'm always a big fan of like fan art. Way better than like fan casting, because
Yeah, I'm a huge fan caster actually. That's funny. Like I literally fan cast I have like files for every single book I've read, but I try to find people who match like the energy and the people in the books. Like people, if the girls are like someone who always like works out or someone who's like super preppy, then I'll find someone like for terms and conditions. I don't know if y'all saw my propaganda, but I was screaming for that book. And so I made like I became an aesthetic girly for the book. What? I was like making the videos. I was like, whoa, who am I? But I literally like found the fan cast. I even sent it to Lauren Asher. I was like, hey, what who I think could be Iris.
No, that you with that book, like you were the reason that I was just like, you know what, maybe I should pick him up. And I did end up picking him up because like at first I was like, oh, you know, like it sounds cool, but I'm not really in that mode for like, you know, like billionaire romance. And then like all of a sudden you were like all over my For You page and all over my this and I was just like, hold on, this looks interesting. You know what? Let me just, and like everybody started reading it and it was because of you. All thanks to you. It was you.
I told Lauren, I was like, I am your like self-appointed PR team. Like I will do it. I will do it. I'm literally tweeting about it, doing a countdown, going to all social media. I was like, who am I? What's going on?
So you've mentioned your love of Percy Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, there's the TV show coming out.
They're
filming. What was your reaction when you heard that the TV show was being made?
I think my tweets would better show that.
Not me going to your Twitter.
I literally had like a panic attack on the time. I'm talking about 20 tweets per 20, like every minute. I was like, oh my God. When I get into Percy Jackson mode, I tell everyone, unfollow me right now, because that's all you're gonna hear about. Like, that's all I'm gonna say, that's all I'm gonna scream. I have so many like Percy Jackson related memes. I literally like, I was in class. I remember I had to leave like my lecture hall and went to the bathroom and I was like, ain't no way. I was like, Rick did this just for me. Like he did it just for me. Yeah, I'm definitely a dramatic person on that forefront because Percy Jackson, like, I don't know. Something I'm really excited. I like that they're casting kids, like genuine kids, and they're doing blind casting. So Percy could be any race, Annabeth could be any race. And that's very interesting. But yeah, I'm really excited. Like,
yeah. Well, are you one of those people who like hates the movies, or like me? I'm a low-key like fan of the movies, and they're like a guilty pleasure where I'll rewatch the first one, not so much the second one, but the first one I'll rewatch. The second one was I don't like to talk about it. The first one,
we don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't.
So are you like do you like the movies?
Yeah. to say the least. I watched the movies in theaters. I remember I was so like literally like opening day, I watched that first movie. The second movie, like you said, is a throwaway movie, but that first one, that casino scene, Logan casted, Grover, like I didn't know that, like in my head reading the books, Grover isn't described as Black, like he's not a Black character. And then I didn't know you could like think of the characters of other races and what they were described at. So like when I got in and I saw like the vibe Grover had, I was like, wait, this is funny. This is really funny. Like, what? I'm a huge fan of the movies. I've watched them a ton of times. Like Poseidon is fine as hell.
Dude, okay, can we get like pause real quick? Because like the gods that they casted, they stacked that movie up. Like even they have Uma Thurman in there. Come on, they have Ned Stark up in there before he even like. Come on, like, you know. Yeah. I was like that when I first watched the movie. And I saw who was playing Zeus and Poseidon, I was like, we serious here. We this is not, you know, we're not playing games. And you know, like I read the first book and I'm like, I had just watched this movie and I was just like, there's some things that are kind of like nitpicky about it. But then like the more you watch it, you just enjoy it on its own.
You have to separate the book from the movie.
You really do, because that movie,
the casino scene is by far the most. I think that scene probably influenced our generation the most.
Absolutely. Oh my God. For sure. Poker face coming, yeah.
It was all of it was the way I wanted to taste one of those.
Bad. I mean, in reality, it was probably an edible, to be honest.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it just
but
good.
I don't know. I now I want to rewatch the movie tonight.
It's so good. Disney Plus, like I rewatch it literally like every 2 months because my roommate loves it too, and then my sister loves it. Like, yeah, I have to see it.
Yeah, I ended up getting my youngest brother to watch it because I'm like, oh, you know, he's like 11 now, so he's starting at that age where I can get him to read Percy Jackson, and then like I could read it with him and like, you know, make him a reader, you know, and give him good taste in books. So I was just like, that's a good one to start, you know, for a little boy who just wants to go on adventures. And so I got him to watch the movie, and he's just like, oh, the movie's cool and whatever. He started watching the second one, and then it was like every other day he was watching the movie again and again and again and again. And I was just like, okay, well, you want more of it, clearly, right? So how about you read the books? And he's just like, no, I don't want to read the book. I'm cool with the movie. I was like,
That's how my brother literally looked me in the eye. And he was like, it just don't feel right to me to spend money on literature. I was like, don't ever speak to me again. Like,
you are cut off.
How do you feel about it being made into a TV show and not a movie? Do you think
oh my gosh. When I was younger, I wanted it to be a TV show.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for it to be a movie. There's too much ground to cover.
Yeah.
And when the pandemic started again, like how I got back, because I didn't start avidly reading until June last year. So it hasn't even been a year, but I'm like an avid reader. I started reading Percy Jackson maybe like in August of the pandemic, maybe July. And I read that first book, and since I just watched the movie too, I was like, oh hell no, there's no way. You guys couldn't even, like, you didn't have the material. You didn't even have the platform or the plan. Like, none of it was executed correctly.
There was a scene that like I was always mad that they took out of the movie, was like his first night at camp, and like he's with like Luke and like, you know, that cabin, and then like them going to go eat food, and then like sacrifice, like throwing the sacrifice into like the flame, and then that reveal, I was like, okay, hype, I'm gonna see that. Oh yeah, your dad is Poseidon. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like what?
I was kind of upset about that. I'm okay with it now.
Maybe they'll do it in the TV show now.
That better be episode 1.
No, like Rick is writing the episodes. I trust him fully. He has my attention. Oh my gosh, the lighting's getting so bad. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
You're good. Grace struggles with lighting too. It's okay.
Yeah, the sun goes down as I'm like recording, but it's fine.
It'll be dark by the time we're done.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm always a fan of like book series becoming TV shows, and especially if it's like a series, because if it's a series, then like each season is like one book, you know, and there's so much that you can add into it. And of course, like TV shows, like books are like first person, right? And so you're only following his point of view. But then like if it's like a show, you get to see a little bit of like other people and then
more
popping
plot
over.
lines.
Yeah, and you get to fill it in a little bit more, you know?
Yeah. Definitely.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm trying to get my whole family hyped up into it. And I'm just like, you know, because my dad was the one that like got me into like Greek mythology, and he got me into it first. And I was just like, oh, you know, like, you know how like this series was made because like he wanted to get his son into Greek mythology and teach him how to do it. And he's like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And I'm like, and they're making a show, you know, maybe we could watch it.
I want to see it sometime.
Yeah, you know.
Have you read any of the other spin-off series for it? So like the Kane Chronicles and like there's like so many other.
Heroes of Olympus finished. Well, actually, I stopped halfway through Blood of Olympus, and I'm not gonna give Rick the pleasure of me finishing that book because I got spoilers. So I was like, the way that you ended that series is very mean. So I'm not gonna do that. But I read like first 2 Crane Chronicle books. I really like those. It's like the Egyptian gods, I believe that's the one.
Yeah, I think those ones he said were being made into movies or something like that. Where
those ones are gonna be animated.
Animated, okay, that's what it is.
That'll be cool.
Yeah,
a lot of people were mad that Percy Jackson wasn't animated, but if it was animated, that would have caused a lot of mayhem from me. Because you can't go from a live action movie to animated series like that.
I don't know. I mean, animated would have been like cool. Like, what's that one video by You know which one I'm talking about.
I
though.
know.
You know which one I'm talking about. Like,
It's the one with the Heroes of Olympus series.
Yes. And they're all like, they all come up. Like,
That
it
one
looks
was
like an
lit.
intro to a show.
It'd be,
Like-
yeah, it does. And it's set up to be it too, but it's like, I just feel like to see camp animated would piss me off because I just know how well it could have been done and the scenery would look so much better like in real time. I don't know.
You're
But
right.
I can see what, like that video especially, it was like, yeah, that was a really good
It
video.
was too good. It, like, every time I end up thinking about it, like, it just rules my head like all day because it's so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah. Percy Jackson is, I mean, Logan,
I love that man with everything in me.
the way he looks now.
The way
People
he
are like-
looked now.
Hold on. Because I literally have him on this wall, but I literally, hold on. Because
She's
just like,
this picture.
oh
Dude.
yeah.
Okay, he would make a good Poseidon. Like,
Amazing. But then Rick tweeted the other day like a picture and he was basically saying the actors in the original movie will not be touching this series. Because he would make a beautiful, like this picture. I look at this every day and I'm like, damn, like this used to be my lock screen. Yeah.
No, because Logan did he ate with what was there. You know?
No, with what he was given. Yeah.
Yeah. He made a meal out of scraps.
Yeah. No, the way that man had a hold over my like formative teenage years of like, no man, have y'all ever done that where like after y'all were like done with like watching a movie and stuff, you pretend like you're in the like universe of the movie after like, bitch, the amount of times I imagined myself as Annabelle and I was like,
Annabeth?
Annabeth. Same person. See, I'm her in my mind, so it doesn't matter. The amount of times that man has been my childhood crush continued throughout the years.
I know, because he was just so good in Perks as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just a stellar actor. I love him.
Oh, and the way have you seen the fan art of Percy on the throne?
Oh my god!
I literally know. I have this video where it was like, "Please don't tell me you're in love with a fictional character," and it's just like adult Percy. And someone in the comments was like, isn't he 12? Oh, I was pissed. I was like, do he look 12 in these pictures? Don't play with me. No, because you're trying to make me look crazy. He's literally, he was 12 in 2005. If you look right now, Percy is what, 27, 28? Like, Mans is a father. He's probably a DILF right now. It's like, like, how dare you? But yeah, I know the picture you're talking about. That just
oh yeah, that one.
that
too.
one?
It's like that thing of like, you know, when you're reading a book and like the character is like younger at the start of the series, but by the end of it, they're like, you know, like aging already. It's just like, it's not the same as like if like it's one book and we're like, you know, thirsting over like, you know, like a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old. It's not the same.
That's
Not it.
Yeah.
Especially if that series came out when we were around that age. It's just like, no, he grew up with me. Okay, it's not the same.
Yeah, I read Percy Jackson when I was in 4th grade for the first time.
Yeah.
Like,
there you go.
No.
Yeah.
That series had the way like I wanted to like I like got into Greek mythology because of that. And
dude,
do you guys know your godly parents?
Mm-hmm.
Mine is Poseidon.
That's so, I always got a polo. Always got a polo. And I was like, I want to be someone cool. Like,
mine's Hades.
Like, y'all are cool people. Dang.
I'm Hades. And I think that matches me perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, like, look at your whole vibe back here.
No, literally.
Literally just like in my dungeon. No, but gosh, Percy Jackson.
I love Greek mythology. And it's so weird because like, you know how it is now on TikTok. It's just like, it's like somebody will show like an experience that they had, and then like in the comments it'll be like, I'm realizing now I have never lived a unique experience in my life, and that's like how it is.
Yeah.
We're all in the same boat. Like everybody had a Greek mythology phase. Even people who are not readers now, like everybody had a Greek mythology phase, and if you didn't have one, like you are seriously lacking somewhere in your personality.
Yeah.
Because like it shows. It shows. Like everybody was obsessed with it. I remember having like the huge Greek mythos like book, and it had like 3 white horses on the front with like the orange background. And my dad got it because I was homeschooled for like middle school, and so like we were doing heavy Greek mythology. Like we were going into it, like the Iliad, Homer, and all of that stuff, you know. And like I just fell in love with that idea of like having all of these like powerful beings and all of them interacting and all of these things. And like that's where like I think my love of like fantasy books with big groups of people like came to be. Like that's what I look for every time, because Greek mythology, it did something to you, you know. It changed you.
Yeah, I think it made a lot of people just fantasy lovers as well.
Yeah. For sure.
It did. I mean, I don't know, like when I like the original thought, the fact that like people will like talk on TikTok and they'll be like talking about an experience they had as a child, and I'm like, did we all have the like same childhood just in different fonts? Because I literally I will be like, this happened to me too. Like, and then I think about it, like we all grew up like with the same like cultural things and stuff, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
But sometimes like TikTok, they'll be like, oh, this happened to me when I was a child, and this is the reason why, and I'm like, hold on,
wait, that's why?
You're like,
That's
hold on
why
a second. Are you the Spider-Man meme where it's like they're all pointing at each other? So besides romance and Percy Jackson, are there any other fandoms that like you're heavily like a part of?
Yeah. Even though, well, I mean, let me not bash them on here. I bash them everywhere else. KBR, the authors of the Addicted series. Yeah, I'm in that fandom for sure. I am deep in the Mariana Zapata-verse. I'm on my 9th book by her right now. I'm obsessed with her. I love her.
Oh wow.
And then yeah, Emily Henry. Anything she writes, I'm pretty much there. Yeah. Simple Wild. I don't know if y'all have read the Simple Wild.
Kay Tucker.
I just got to interview her like 3 days ago.
I saw. I was like, I hopped on that because I just finished her Wolf Hotel series.
I want to read that so bad,
dude. Okay, don't get me started. Don't get me started. I will, dude. I'm shoving that book down. Everybody who talks to me,
as you said,
because that series, it did something to me, because it awakened things I did not like. Okay, because like I'm a very simple type of romance girl, you know. I'm like a one and done. That's it. You're my it. There's no flirting with nobody else. There's nothing with anybody else. I'm a monogamous relationship romance type of girl. This book, this series, it opened me up to the possibility of wanting more.
More partners,
and being okay with it and sharing that, and you know, communication and things like that, because it's like I'm trying to rein it in a little bit, but it's a CEO billionaire employee romance, so it's a little taboo.
I feel like those aren't taboo though. I feel like, that's just like I know boss employee people be screaming, but damn, like it's just live, let it go.
Well, yeah,
it's taboo for Grace,
because I say it's kind of taboo because it's like his direct assistant, and she became his assistant because he was attracted to her.
Oh, okay, then yeah.
Because he saw her and it was just like, maybe I'll have her as my assistant. But then it just became more because the storyline, you know how it goes. Mm-hmm. But it's like, the series kind of goes like how, like, you know, back early romance books where all of the 4 books are about one couple, like kind of like 50 Shades of Grey type of thing, where it's like every book follows the same story. It's like following Anna and Christian, but it's not BDSM, but you know, like that type of style. And it was good. I liked each and every one of them. I loved each and every one. She was
shoving them down my throat. Like she like, I read The Simple Wild. I want to read the next 2 in The Simple Wild, but that shit made me cry.
It did? No, it made me cry too, but I'm a weak person. Oh, I forgot she released Tempt Me under Nina West. That's why I was like,
Yeah.
why can't
Yeah. Which was I was like, when I read the first one, it said Nina West. And then like when I looked up the image, it said K.A. Tucker. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that it was. I even had to like ask like people like, hey, do you know if it's a pen name or if it's it was a co-author type of thing or what? But it was it was like under a pen name. Yeah.
Yeah, I think someone asked her that question on my live, and she said because the publisher she was underneath wouldn't let her write like the taboo,
Yeah.
series. So she was like, I'm gonna just write it anyway. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, girl, you let them know. What?
Because that series was spicy. It was.
He has a fantasy series too.
Yeah.
I know. I saw that.
Really bad. Like it sounds.
I have the book. I have the first book.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Flame, the Wrath and the Flame.
Yeah, and the second one is coming out like in like a month. Valentine PR. We got the Valentine PR.
Yeah,
I saw that. See, I'm part of like their like master list, but then I don't know if there's a difference between the master list and then like the other like an actual.
There is a difference. I can send you like the email of the person who like I talked to directly, but if you are interested in interviewing authors, they want people who want to interview authors.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like Emma Chase, I interviewed her and I never heard of her before. I interviewed her. And then I don't know, I really like talking to her. So I was like, hey, like, do you guys have like any books sitting around? And they sent me like 5 of her books.
Yeah, definitely. There's always authors that we want to interview on the podcast.
Yeah.
So if you can hook us up,
partner with them, actually.
Yeah.
Let us know. Yeah.
Definitely would love to do that. We love
talking to authors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But K.A. Tucker, the Simple Wild series. That book, I was like, I'm not gonna cry. It was like the last 10 pages where it all hit me, and I was like, yeah, because I didn't cry when like you know what happens, but like it was like the ending, and I was like, oh my gosh, like and then I found out that there's 2 more books.
Yeah, and one of them is a novella. One of them is a Christmas novella. It's super, super cute. I like how the Simple Wild, like the first book I feel is equally women's fiction as it is romance. And then the next ones are just romance. But it shows like the highs and lows of relationship. But also all her smut is fade to black. Every single one of them. And it's like, damn. Because I know it's big. Like just moves. Oh my God. Like I could scream.
That's what I heard about that series. And then I was just like, oh, because like after I finished that series, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna read the backlist, because if the spice was this good in that series, I'm gonna hop over. And then everybody told me like it's fade to black, and I was just like, oh, I have to read that when I want that. You can't be expecting like super spicy, smutty scenes and then like go into like a book that doesn't really have it, because then you're disappointed. And it's not because the book isn't good. It's just like you're not feeling that right now,
Y'all should read the Addicted series. I don't know if you.
I'm kind of scared of like the fandom.
I've heard so much like back and forth of like people being like, I love this series, like it is my like lifeline, and then people being like, I hate this series. And so like it scares me.
It's like it depends who. I hated the first 2 books with everything in me because the series was so hyped. I'll talk about it now. I gave the first book like 2.5. I was bashing. What? People were fighting me on Twitter. Twitter is not a safe space. Twitter is absolutely not a safe space. And I was saying my opinions, and people were private quoting me. People were dragging me. One thing about me, I'm gonna stand my ground. So I'm fighting. I'm like, no, but these books are bad, and you need to understand why. And I like spelled it out for them. And then it's like one of my favorite series now. Like I love the characters to death. I literally bought, like at first I was like, I'm not buying the Addicted series. I'm only gonna get the Cowboy Sisters. Like I don't want to be associated with that couple. And then I got to their like 3rd book, and I was like, then I got to the 4th book. I was like, I'm about the series. Like the series is so good. Obsessed. But the smut in like not the Addicted, because it like you guys know like it's like baseline, like he's addicted to alcohol, she's addicted to sex. So all her smut is like sad to me. Like, I don't know how people are like, like, babes, this is not a happy moment.
Yeah.
But when you get to the other one, like, I don't know how y'all feel about Breeding Kings, but when I read them, I'm smiling big. So
Oh yeah, I'm getting into them.
Connor Cole, he said he wants 8 kids. Like, and yeah, he's like, when I read about him, and I love like pretentious people in books because like I read them and I'm like, I could handle that. I could walk him a little bit.
Could you though? Could you though?
Yeah, I'll be like, I could handle that. Definitely. And so I'm reading it like trying to like make my God complex. I'm like, I could handle that. Yeah. It's just like a ton of fun. But yeah, Connor Cobalt, that's my man. I put him on the level as Percy Jackson, and that's really big for me. And A.
Yeah.
2 different worlds.
Yeah.
But Connor Cobalt, he's just that man. And he's like, yeah. I don't want to spoil nothing, but every time I talk about him, I'm like blushing. Like, oh my God, am I blushing? Like, it's like Connor Cobalt.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you might there's like 2 months out of the summer that I'm gonna be like free, that I'm just gonna be working like a minimum wage job. So like, I'll be able to like, I'll have time. I'll be like working 10 hours a week and then taking care of my sister. So like, I'll have time to like read. So maybe I will like pick it up this summer and be like,
get ready for pain. But when there's pain, there's smiles.
Did you cry?
I think out of all 10 books, I cried for 2 of them.
10?
There's 10?
There's 10 books in the base series, and then there's 13 in their kids.
Wait. Can you
hold on?
Can you go?
You got me here thinking it's like maybe like a 4-book series or something.
I got them right here. These evil twins, they got me. They like besides this over is all KBR. Now this book ends the Addicted series, but this is the spinoff. This is a duology in the same world, and then this is also set in the same world. But I haven't read these 2 yet. These 2 are amazing, and then this is all 10 of them. Yeah.
There's.
Damn.
I know, but the first, like, Ricochet is like a novella, but then Some Kind of Perfect is almost 800 pages, but that's an epilogue novel, and it takes place over 10 years, and it's the best epilogue novel I've ever read in my entire life.
And it's like, it's not all about one.
Oh, absolutely not. I couldn't.
I was like,
couples is taboo because it's a 7-year age gap, and he met her when she was 15. You learn not to have a problem with them because the people they are, but it's that last book of theirs that I was like, I'm not a fan. But a lot of people didn't have a problem with that. I did.
There is that thing about age gap books. Gianna Darling's Welcome to the Dark Side.
Yes. Is it that one with the 17-year-old and 38-year-old?
Yeah. And he meets her when she's like a little kid.
Yeah.
And I mean, nothing happens. Like he stays like they don't interact much when she's young and stuff. But she knows of him when she's younger. But it was that reading like her as a child and me like knowing like what's gonna happen in the end, like through the rest of the book, where I was kind of like, I get it, it's a dark romance, I understand that, but I was like,
yeah, sometimes I have to question. I'm like, well, let me not bash her because I haven't read the book yet, but I was just like, because she married him before she graduated high school.
Yeah,
but you didn't have to write that. You didn't.
Yeah. That does come, like, I do think about that sometimes, especially when it comes to dark romance, about age gap and like how some authors will write an age gap romance when they're in high school still. And I do think it's a little bit different because it is set in Canada. And I do think that there is a different culture when it comes to people who live in Canada and maturity because like in Canada at 18, you can like drink and all that kind of jazz and stuff. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure you can drink and stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's that, yeah.
Like in most like cultures and stuff. Like in my dad grew up in Ukraine, like there's no like actual like age limit and stuff.
Yeah, my parents grew up in Nigeria. There's no age limit.
Yeah, like whenever I would go, they never asked me how old I was. Like they just gave me alcohol kind of thing, where it's different. And maturity and stuff there is a lot different. So I do understand that. But like American culture and stuff kind of like integrated into our brain of like, it's a little weird if we think about it, because it's like American kids in high school is definitely different than kids in high school in other countries. So I definitely like have to think about that, especially when it comes to Gianna Darling books, because she is Canadian. There is Canada's more of a European country than it is an I guess you could say like a Western American country. I
Yeah.
would say it's more of the European style, but it definitely was like an ick where I was like telling people, I was like, I don't know if I can finish this book.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I've told people that like I'm really not a dark romance girly. Like, please don't come to me with dark romance because I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna show my reaction and you're gonna hate me. I'm sorry, I'm gonna beef with you. It's just like, but y'all have fun. I'm not bashing you. Like, have fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a dark romance reader. Like, and for me, it was kind of like a
yeah.
Like Grace isn't that much of a dark romance reader. She's starting to get into it, but I was like,
yeah.
There's some age gap romances where I think like it's different when it's an age gap of like 21 and like 29 and like 30 versus like a 17-year-old and a 29-year-old or something like that. And I'm like,
I'm kind of like iffy on like 18 too, because it's just like, oh, you waited until like what? How long until after their birthday? Did you know their birthday? Is that what you were waiting for? Like, there was this video, this comedy sketch on my For You page, and like the comedian like reaches out into he's like doing like crowd work.
Oh, I know exactly what video you're talking about.
Yeah, he asked like a couple. He's just like, oh, like, oh, you guys are together, and he's like, yeah. He's like, oh, how old are you? And he's like, oh, I'm 20 something. And then she just turned 18 yesterday. And the comedian was just like, bro, you did not need to add that. You did not need to add like she just turned 18. Like, and you said that like you were proud. You said that like you were like no, don't. That's not it, And it's like, it's kind of like that thing of like, am I okay with 18? Yeah, but am I?
I think kind college of like 18 that thing is a little different when like they're a freshman in college, and like they're definitely that summer of like between like high school and going to college. You definitely have to mature a lot. I definitely went through some stuff that summer, and definitely like moving out and stuff. But still, like 18.
Yeah.
I was a dumb bitch when I was
if you're
18.
a freshman in college, that's something different, because it's a new environment. You grow up basically. You have to be on your own. But I don't know. I like age gaps, older age gaps. I like 22. She just finished college and now she's in the corporate world, or I like workplace romances. Okay,
office romances are.
I think I'm gonna do to me.
Because Declan and Iris too. Like Declan, I think Iris is 23. Declan is 36.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not that bad.
That's not that bad. Yeah.
I mean, and it's Declan. Like, I haven't read him yet, but I'm like, I saw him on the pages and the fine print. I was like,
there's something about that man that does something to me. I can't
wait to read that book.
Connor This is Connor Cobalt. It's not showing correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, that looks good. Is that your screensaver?
No, I literally have so many My Taste in Men. Connor Cobalt. I also have one with Ivan Lukov.
For our audio listeners, Kimmy has an iPad up and is bringing up pictures.
It's all really full of memes of like fictional men and Jestra's art. Yeah, I felt that.
Dude, I like how Grace was talking, like the fact that like artists are now getting into romance, and finally like the Jesse draws Lukov's
dude, that one
that made me want to read the book. And the fact that Grace bought the book and still has not read it, and I was gonna buy the book.
Look,
you haven't read it?
Look,
y'all haven't read it?
Look,
are you slow burn girlies?
I have it right here.
No, I don't like slow burn.
Okay, see, then you won't like Mariana Zapata then.
See, that's the thing, is that's why I think if I had like an audiobook for her, like I think I could get through it. Because
so you're just waiting until I buy the audiobook. Is that what it is? Is that what you're waiting for?
For Love from Lukov?
Yeah.
No, I wanted the book, and we were at the store, and she got the book, and then she still has not read the book.
I know, but did you read it?
No, I just said I didn't.
Exactly. So you waiting until I buy the audiobook and then you can
No.
listen to it?
No, I'm waiting till I get the physical copy.
I thought you bought it at the other store.
No.
Oh. Okay, then I guess you're saved. Anyway, no, look, I will read it. I want to read it, but I feel like I missed winter. And I feel like that's a book that I want to feel the cold of the ice rink, and I want to feel the vibe.
Yeah.
But and now it's like getting hot, and I don't want to read a book about like a cold sport in a hot weather, you know. I'm a sensory kind of person.
I don't know.
know?
I grew up going to the ice skating rink in the Galleria Mall, and I took the ice skating lessons at the Galleria Mall. Like, you could ice
You could
skate.
go in the summer. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the desert.
Oh,
Ain't no
shit.
ice
Have
rink.
you ever been to Texas before?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. For a road trip. And then
She went to San Antonio though, so she went to San Antonio. So it's
that's different. No, but all Mariana Zapata's books take place in Texas, except for maybe two, maybe. But like all of them, like Lukov is in Houston. Wait for it, or not wait for it. Yeah, wait for it is in Austin. And then what is it? Wall of Winnipeg. That's Dallas. They literally go to a UNC basketball game.
Wait, really?
Like, I was like, this is like, I said, Dana's down the road. I was like, she a country girl. Like, damn, she a stallion. Like, what?
Wait, if
All
they're
her
all
books
in
are
Texas.
All of them, except for All Roads Lead Here, and then the ones I've read, All Roads Lead Here, and then
I'm a Texas
All
gal.
Roads is the one that I'm kind of inching towards, because I've been feeling like that single dad trope lately.
Ooh, that single dad, that Colorado, like, oof. And the thing, he don't get her things she wants, he get her things she needs, that attentiveness, that, oh, it's snowing outside, let me drive behind your car, make sure you're safe type love. Like,
damn. Yeah, and that's what I've been feeling lately. So I think that's going to be my first, because I do have Walla Winnipeg, I have Lukov, I'm about to get Rhodes, but it's like that's the one that's calling my name right now. I really did like Lukov, especially because of you, because every time you made a post about it, I was just like, damn, maybe I should.
My favorite book of last year. I love that book so much.
I was like, yeah, you know, and then like the weather just didn't do it for me. But then like I started seeing about All Roads, and then I was just like, that one is kind of piquing my interest right now.
Colorado.
I think somebody did like a different copy of like the cover or something. Somebody did an alternative cover.
Yes, I
haven't seen it.
It was like a part of a box. Let me see if I can find it.
That's what I saw. Everybody was posting about it, and it was amazing. And I was like, oh.
I wasn't about to drop 30 on it, but it was real pretty.
Yeah, it was like a pretty thing, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. But I've been wanting to get into her for a while. I've had the Wall.
I know, but you said you don't like slow burn. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Like if you read her slowest burn, like Luna and the Lie, I'm gonna say it's like a couple pages short of 600 pages, and maybe like 590. They touch for the first time 95, 92. 95, 92. Like, like they all her.
Wait, like 592?
No, like 95%.
95%, and they
90%.
just touch.
Like, and that's like the first like kiss.
So the tension is like.
The tension is through the roof. It's crazy. Like even Lukov, the tension in Lukov, I don't think Lukov, they don't like kiss or touch. Well, they're always touching each other because it's ice skating.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
In that type of sense until like 87. Like she has slow burns, but it's so worth it. And like
I love tension.
Yeah, her tension is top tier.
That's I think what's gonna do it for me in that series is like the tension, because I fucking love tension. I need tension. In order for like me to have like a really good like spicy scenes, I need the tension to get there. I can't read a book that's just pure smut and that's it. That's not me. I need to feel that connection. I need to feel that desire. I need to feel that like heat. You know, water doesn't boil as soon as you put it on the pot, you know? I need some buildup. You know?
Yeah.
Well, you say that her tension's really like there's a lot of tension in slow burn. How are there? Does she write any spicy scenes? Are there? Any?
Yeah. Every book has spicy things. Her spiciest book is her first book, Under Lock. That one, I think they kissed in like maybe 45. I was like, damn, Mariana, like 45%. I mean, and then like they kept like touching. I was like, dang, but he's also like he was like an extremely like he had like a dick piercing because they worked in a piercing shop, and she was like I hope like and like earlier in the book there was this one scene she was like, oh, I hope that like feels good for the girl because damn, that looked painful. He was like, you want to find out? I was like, oh,
okay,
like don't do that.
Okay.
Don't do that.
I will say Kennedy Fox and Madison Kate, they've written books with men who have piercings there.
Yeah.
And I will say it has made me interested because like whenever I think of any piercing there, I'm like, oh, ow, like, ooh, like even like
cleaning
on, like,
it too, because you know you gotta keep your piercings clean and like
even
disinfect
like
them and all.
even on like the chest, like in the like nipple piercings, I'm just like I don't think I could ever because I'm so scared it would like rip out or something.
This is the special edition for the Rhodes cover.
Yes, there it is. Yeah, that one is so pretty. But when I tell you, when I read about like people having piercings there, I'm like, I want to experience it at least once.
Yeah,
at least once.
Cool.
But you know those ER horror stories of like
it getting stuck?
It getting stuck.
No.
And I'm like,
or it getting stuck on the IUD.
Yeah.
But how like
yeah, that's not it.
How okay, that's weird. But how deep do you have to be? The IUD? Damn, like
well, because like the IUD has a string that hangs out. So it gets caught on the string.
I mean, I guess I don't know. That shit is crazy.
But I've definitely it's reading romance books has definitely made me more curious.
It makes you curious, and then it makes you realize your kinks too. Like I didn't know I had a penis kink, but like yeah.
I love the thing of like words of if your love language is words of affirmation, you're most likely gonna have a praise kink.
Yeah, definitely.
I was like,
I don't know.
I feel called out.
My love language is physical touch. So
yeah, and I know exactly what you like to do.
What is it?
I'm gonna keep this episode has been pretty clean. We've talked about it often, what you like to do and what you like to perform. And
okay. That's I do like those scenes. I do. Okay, that makes sense. Okay,
I know what I'm talking about.
But I also like communication, but words of affirmation ain't really my thing.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's how my friend too. She's like humiliation. I was like, dang.
Yeah, that is also
I want to read, I think it's Priceless by Miranda Silver. But that book is humiliation. I can't like you can't.
I
can't do humiliation. I feel so bad. I'd be like, damn,
look at that book. That's why I don't like books. I hate romance because of that. No.
The Dare by Harley LaRue.
Was it that game one with the mask?
No.
It's the one where he has like his hand like this and he has
open.
Yeah, and it's like the purple cover.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that one.
And it's like a novella. Is it what?
Isn't there like a clown scene?
Yeah. That one is like humiliation.
God.
Major. And you know, when I went into it, I was like, I'm not gonna like this.
The silence after
I think that's all I need to say.
So what you're saying is it needs to be done correctly in order for it to work. Got it.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Okay. I mean, that ain't for me. Good for you, boo boo, but not me. Because no, because like I don't know what it is, but like in order for like a really scene to like, I've realized, damn it, because of like the K.A. Tucker book series, the Wolf series, voyeurism has come through for me.
What's that?
It's when they watch other people in the act, and then
that happened in the Mafia series I just recently read.
Which one?
It's called, what is it called? It's Dirty. The first one is Dirty Kisses. It's like the Bratva from Russia. He came to Brooklyn. The main girl is she's a black girl, but she's like crazy as fuck. Like she's someone to match him. Like 10 toes trying to fight. And so like one of his money washer was murdered. Now he needs someone to wash his money. So he like finds her. He's like, I heard you're really good at washing money. You're my new money washer. But he's also like really attracted to her. And he's like, you know how they're always so possessive, like, I want to be mine type thing. She's like, I'm not really one to be anybody's. Like, so it's like, I'm like, there's like one scene where there's like a lounge, and he brought her to that lounge to make her uncomfortable because they had like some like people in the act in front of them. And instead she's looking at that. She's like, ooh, like, she's getting a little hot, and he's watching her. He's like,
he's like, this did not go according to plan.
Yeah, but she's like super smart. Like, she's also a killer, but I'm not going to spoil too much of it. But
oh, for sure. What was it? Dirty Kisses? Let me add that right
Kisses.
now.
Part of like the Lion and the Mouse series. There's like 6 books, but I've only read the first 2.
All of us on Goodreads right now. Look it up.
No, I was very surprised. It's very graphic in the murder, but also the smut is amazing.
Yeah, that's me. I need to.
The Lion and the Mouse.
Yeah, it's like a part of that series.
Ooh.
But the first book is called Dirty Kisses.
Yeah.
Or is it the second? It's either Dirty Love or Dirty Kisses.
It's Dirty Kisses and then Dirty Love.
Yeah.
Dirty Hearts. The Dirty Desires.
Oh.
Dirty Minds.
But the series also follows, like, the first 2 books follow them, and I think the next book follows a different couple. But I didn't really care for the different couple build up, so I don't think I'll read that.
Yeah. But those type of scenes, like the watching other people in the act, and then it getting you in the act, like getting you, and then like especially if they're watching together, that
I'm like, okay.
It's just like, okay. And then like especially if they're like, I know you enjoy it, so if you enjoy it, we'll do it, and I want us to watch together.
I am the opposite. I like the books where it's like the fear of like somebody stumbling in, or it's people watching.
But that's like that hidden romance type of thing.
Yeah.
That's why workplace romance does really good with that.
Twisted Games by Anna Huang.
Hold on. That's
bro. No. Was it the throne room?
That's the scene.
The gazebo? No.
Dude, the scene gazebo? Right in her office.
Yeah.
Damn, I was like.
Yeah. And the person was right out the door.
Right outside the door. Right outside the door.
God.
Right out. That's almost like those scenes in like the limo. And like the drivers right there driving them home.
Addicted.
The fine print. The fine print.
Bro,
the fine print.
Lauren Asher, she missed the bag. She should have like partitioned. By Beyonce, I told you, put that in the playlist. Even if you can't alter the books, put it in the Spotify playlist right now. Because partition playing, roll up the partition, please.
Yeah, for sure. That's the vibe exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I love those scenes. Those scenes, like, okay. Last question before we end. What are like your top 5 tropes that you absolutely, if you only ever read those 5, you'd be set for life?
Okay. So I'm gonna say forced proximity, but forced proximity encapsulates a lot. Unplanned pregnancy. I think that's forced proximity because then you have to be in that person's face. But I'm gonna separate them. Okay. Forced proximity trope. I need marriage and convenience immediately has my attention. Pregnancy for the most part will have my attention. I love childhood best friends to lovers. And then I think I would say single. I like single parent, but not like that wouldn't really drive me. But my favorite genre is like murder mystery romance. So like,
like suspense romance.
Yeah, suspense romance.
Me too. I need like some danger, some action. I need like somebody needs to be trying to kill me.
Go Ridge.
I need to.
Yeah.
I need to.
Oh, have y'all read the Mindfuck series?
I
haven't read it. I don't remember.
Yeah.
It was not that spicy. I read it for the plot. I read it for the suspense.
Exactly. Like I didn't even care about the couple anymore. I was like, let's find out what's going on here.
The
Like,
spice was like maybe a 1 for me. Like it
a
wasn't.
1? What do you read? Oh my God. 1?
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
She said what?
A 1? I mean, okay, towards the end of the series, I can see it like dwindling, but I would put it at a 3 because they were constantly like, anytime they saw each other, yeah, let's get together, you know?
I didn't feel that.
Oh my God.
But I also, if keep in mind, I like Penelope Douglas. I was putting at like 3.
Penelope Douglas at 3?
Yeah.
Gosh, that's crazy.
I haven't even
Penelope
read
is
Pen,
really
but like I would put her at a 4 just by knowing what certain things have.
I think
Been
the
seen.
only
like on my list that I won't touch most of their books. I'm sorry.
yeah, their books. I think only
Because
one
it's
of their
bully
books.
romance. I don't like bully romance.
Yeah,
I don't like bully romance.
I'm a very big bully romance reader.
Okay, see
And
that's a big
stalker
one.
romance. That's like my genre.
So, and when you mean stalker,
Yeah.
because some of it could be interesting, but like aggressive stalker?
No,
Like,
so
no,
like
no.
it's the stalking where they know what, like they know who, like
oh, okay, then that's
So,
fine. Isn't that like Punk 57?
yeah, but like in Savar Miller just wrote Vipers and Virtuosos. In that one, it's a light stalker because he basically is like across the way from her, and she knows that he like is coming over and stuff, and he'll like appear randomly in her house, and she never tells him to like leave her alone or like go away. She does, but like she's not like actively in her mind, she's not like, I don't want him to actually go away. So it's like that
What did
kind
you
of
say the
thing.
book title was?
It's called Vipers and Virtuosos by
It's the
Savar
second
Miller.
book to Promises and Pomegranate.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's a dark romance. I was about to say, yeah.
She's like,
I have
"Alright."
the
Yeah, one of my
top-
friends, she read it and she was like, don't read it, Kimmy. I was like, what?
Yeah, I posted a video about it, about what happens in the book, and it's when I thought my taste in romance couldn't get darker, and then I have to tell you what the next thing says. He puts his white juice into her lotion after stalking her.
Yeah. And you know what? I
That's-
believe you because in Promises and Pomegranates, doesn't he carve her name his name inside of her?
He carves his initial K into her thigh, but that's in like the prequel book.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
But I know that happens in Priest and Bee's book in Gianna Darling series. Like he carves his
Yeah.
inside of
yeah.
her. I was like, ruh-roh.
Yeah.
Ruh-roh. But yeah.
I don't know if I could do that. That's not one of my kicks. Okay?
Yeah.
Pain ain't one of them. Okay. But yeah. I don't know. I kind of like soccer in a light sense.
Yeah, and
Like,
like,
Yeah.
like what you just described, that'd be fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I kind of liked like Sophie likes like There Are No Saints.
Yeah, that
Um,
one.
I think that I need to.
Because that one is like that one's fucked though. That one's fucked up.
That one's like a
That's a serial killer one. Yeah, we used to that.
Yeah,
yeah.
you
That's
know.
like a mindfuck series kind of one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like the way that he was stalking her in the beginning, I was kind of like okay with, but then I was kind of like, is this okay? Do I like this? Do I?
Yeah.
Well, she's also a fucked up person too. I feel like when both people are crazy, then what the other person does doesn't really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it equals out. It equals out.
Yeah. Like okay.
It's a balance.
It balance,
Yeah.
you know. We
It's-
can't have like extremes on opposite sides of the spectrum
yeah
together. Opposites attract, but not that opposite. Not oil and water don't mix, okay? Like
Yeah.
we gotta have something in between, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. But your tropes, I do like your tropes. Your tropes are good
Yeah.
because I like forced proximity.
Oh,
I think
Y'all like pregnancy patrol?
I
s-
kind of do. I'm not gonna lie because I do want to have kids. I do want to have like, you know, a good dad around. So if he steps up and he does what he needs to do while being loving and attentive, I'm like, I like you.
No,
I
that's
want you.
okay. Then you might want to read this book.
For sure.
Yeah. Because I just don't want to step into that role. Like,
that's
then you might like Juniper Hill as well.
Yeah, because like I also like the single mom trope, because like
I like the single dad trope more than
I like the single dad trope too, because it's like he's already doing what he needs to do. He didn't need to like change. He was already stepping up. He was already becoming that dad, you know? I do really like that. And I love it when like the kids are like, no, go out with them. You need to go chase after that person, because I like them. I want them to be my new mommy. I want them to be my new daddy, kind of thing. Yeah. I love when the kids cheer on the couple.
Yeah, me too.
That's cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure.
Sorry, I'm tracking my sister.
Sorry, I'm letting Grace go.
Oh, sorry. But I think you want to end where
this is a good natural ending point. It's been over our allotted time that we scheduled for because somebody was late.
I'm sorry. I know. Sorry. I'm gonna make it up. To you, Kimmy. You got a surprise coming to you some way, somehow. But yeah, this has been really fun and really great. We got to talk about a lot of cute stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Yeah. Like the vibe.
Yeah.
Any announcements?
Okay. Grace will let me do the announcements. Yeah. But thank you to everybody who listened. All of Kimmy's links will be down below, so make sure you check her out. I was so excited to have her on. I was so happy that we did this. Definitely we'll have to have you back on in like a year, do like a year recap episode. But thank you to everybody who supported our shop. We're hopefully going to get it up within the next 2 weeks again, so our Brutal Ladies collection will be back, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Yeah. And we will
those who pre-ordered, we are just waiting on a couple last shipments, and then once that is set, then we'll start packaging and then we'll start sending it out, and you'll make sure to get like a message in your Etsy, so keep an eye out for that. And other than that, so
we'll see you next week. Have a good rest of your week. Bye, guys.